UFC Des Moines just recently wrapped up, and I'm going to recap the entire card. I'll start with the first fight of the night and then work my way up to the main event. Was a decent card. There was definitely some entertaining fights, amongst some snooze fest too. But we're going to talk about all of it. Bo Nickal got fraud checks, so there's much to speak on. But first things first, we start with the ladies. First fight of the night was Juliana Miller and Ivana Petrović. Whoa. Ivana Petrović has the worst decision making I've seen. Juliana Miller outdogged her, gritty win. I felt like Petrović was more technical in the striking by a lot, but she wanted to engage in grappling a bit, and then she threw a kick that got her taken down, but her boxing looked smoother. It's just Miller like wanted to win more. There was a difference of the dog on the inside, and sometimes in these lower level fights, man, you can be a little bit better, but lack the oomph. And it is what it is. Like these girls who are more towards the bottom, or some of the men too that are not on the upper elite level, they wilt, they'll break. And I'm not saying Petrovic so much broke in a way of like quitting and bailing out the fight, but couldn't outgut any certain positions and then makes questionable decisions. Juliana Miller, simply put, I think she wanted it way fucking more and she would not be denied. So shout out to Juliana Miller getting the upset win to start the card off with the W. And I guess her grandma died leading up to the fight, so rest in peace. She said she dedicated the win to her. That's nice. Hey, she's not cut from the UFC. She's an Ultimate Fighter winner that got a W in the UFC. That's good. Next up, Thomas Petersen gave Don'Tale Mayes a lopsided beating. This fight was one-way traffic the entire time. Thomas Petersen landed pretty much every takedown that he shot on Don'Tale Mayes, and he beat him up from top position, won every positional exchange, and in the striking, Don'Tale Mayes did pretty much nothing. He landed 13 strikes in the whole fight, 3 of which were significant. Holy shit. 105 for Thomas Petersen as far as the strike totals and 28 as far as significant. So it's not like there was a ton of significant shots by him either, but my God, 13 in total? Holy shit. Thomas Petersen actually looked better than I've ever seen, though. Like his wrestling looked sharp. His wrestling was on point. He was dragging Don'Tale Mayes to the ground. That was good shit. I have a crazy take. What about Thomas Petersen versus Hamdi Abdullah Wahab? Listen, if Hamdi Dumpty goes out and beats Mo Usman, I like the idea of him and Thomas Petersen throwing down. I think that's a hard matchup. Let me tell you, I feel like Thomas Petersen. I feel like Thomas Petersen's better than his debut. He's better than even his second fight, better than his third. Like he's showing evolution in his game. I'm surprised he lost to Jamal Pogue, seeing how good the wrestling looked here. I think this version of Thomas Petersen is definitely better. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as to say, bro, keep your eye on him. He's climbing towards the heavyweight rankings, but I don't know, man. When I look at the heavyweight division, they're not that great. Is it insane to think that he beats Joanata Janiz? Does he not beat Justin Tafa? Like, those are 2 winnable fights for him. Does he have a chance against somebody like, I don't know, Mick Parkin? Maybe. Maybe. Hey, Mick Parkin tunes him up, to be honest. I'd probably pick Mick Parkin. But just saying, like, Thomas Petersen is not that far from mixing it up with some of the elites. I mean, he's coming off this win against Don'Tale. Yes, he got fucked up by Shamil Gaziev, but to still see him teetering towards the top 15 at some point, the wrestling looked good. Don'Tale Mayes might be out of a job, 3 losses in a row, and he hasn't looked good in any of the fights. I mean, 30-25. 11-9. If you eliminate the no contest with Hamdi Dumpty, he's 11-10. Don'Tale Mayes probably shouldn't be in the UFC anymore. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. Savage, Dog, Lock, Cashes. Listen, bro. Quang Lee was my call, and he came through with dominance. I felt like Gaston Bolaños was overrated AF, and I was honestly surprised to see him as a favorite. Quang Lee is a skillful fighter. His boxing looked good too. He stung up Bolaños with some punches. He got hit one time nice too in the second round, but ultimately Quang Lee's hands look fast, man. Where Bolaños had an edge was maybe kicks, but not with the hands. Quang Lee looked nasty in this fight, taking the fight to the ground and dominating the entire first, pretty much back control the whole time, and then locking in the choke early round 2. I was ever impressed, and I felt really blessed. I was rocking with the Quang Lee train as the underdog this week, and it felt good to get back on track. If you tune into Wednesday's show, bro, Last 10, 7 out of 10 Savage dog locks from Wednesday's this week's Best MMA bets. Wednesday's my money day. All right. And the Savage dog locks have been fucking savage. All right. So I'm feeling pretty damn good. And Quang keeps us flowing. And I'm damn excited. I'm already excited for next week, but I'm jumping too far ahead. It was a good performance for Quang. Gets himself a W in the UFC. You know, he started doing MMA at 23, never fought in his life before 23. Now he's in the UFC and gets a win. Like, how badass is that? Quang Lee's a fucking G. Shout out to Quang Lee. Congrats on the W. Let's keep running. Jillian Robertson versus Marina Rodriguez. This right here. The end of Marina. She actually retired after as well. Jillian Robertson looked quite good in this fight. Takedown control, beat the shit out of Marina Rodriguez. Got a second round ground and pound stoppage. To be honest, after round one, Marina looked like she could have quit. She was done for. But Jillian Robertson was ferocious, and she breaks into the top 10 because leading into this fight, Marina Rodriguez was still ranked at number 9 in the world. And she just got destroyed, handled badly by Jillian Robertson. A beating of a lifetime, really. And now her sitting at number 9, I expect Robertson probably at number 10. She called out Amanda Lemos. Lemos is ranked number 4 in the world. That might be a bit far-fetched, but I don't hate that fight. I don't hate that fight at all. Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson could be booked probably for this summer. Lemos, a nasty striker, but another girl towards the twilight of the career, towards the final stand. Count me in. I would love to see those two ladies throw down. And I feel like Jillian Robertson wrestling, big factor, big danger. But Lemos is a lot more sound than Rodriguez at all aspects. More powerful on the feet, better grappling defense for sure. So I do think that's a hard fight for Jillian, but I'm down for it. Jillian Robertson, high-level grappling. She's on, what, a 4-fight win streak now? 29 years old, absolutely in her prime, looks fucking shredded. Respect to her dialing in, because I remember at one point she was a journeywoman, but it was early in her career, but it didn't look like it was trending towards a good direction. Some proper training and some real dedication to the craft. Wow. Jillian Robertson's awesome. So shout out to that massive W. Next fight. Actually, one more thing. Marina Rodriguez, congrats on the retirement. I hope your gym doesn't get shut down. There we go. Ryan Loder, Azamat Bekoev. Ryan Loder got destroyed. American wrestling got tuned up a little bit. I mean, Petersen looked good, but some other ones got tuned up. Azamat Bekoev stopping Loder's consistent takedowns. I mean, he shot 4 of them, failed all of them. Azamat dropped some bombs, rocks Loder on the feet, and just blitzes him, throwing chaos. But Loder didn't go out with the first barrage, and I was worried, and commentary mentioned it too. Like, Bekoev could have punched himself out, but dude was just ruthless and relentless. He wouldn't stop. He had another moment where he was all over Loder, and he caught him with the overhand shots. Loder just crumbled. Loder went down. He was done for. Loder was gone, fell over. They could have stopped the fight earlier, I feel like. The ref didn't even need to let any shots on the ground be had by Azamat. Azamat Bekoev looked nice in this fight. Striking is good, kind of Russian-style boxing that I've said before. A little wild, though. A little chaotic, not definitely the most technical, but holy shit, it was fun to watch. Wrestling defense, elite, as expected. I mean, the guy's Russian Dagestan blood. And he destroyed Ryan Loder in the first 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Ultimate Fighter winner goes down. Whew. Yeah. Azamat Bekoev looked nice, though. I like what I saw. The takedown defense clean. Power in his hands is nice. 2 back-to-back first-round knockouts. Give him a quick turnaround. I want to see him fight again because he definitely delivers the violence and entertainment value. Next fight featured prelim Yana Santos versus Miesha Tate. Decent fight. I mean, Miesha Tate was chasing Santos for pretty much the first 2 rounds and kind of getting stung up on the feet. And then Yana Santos ended up getting taken down in round 3. Miesha took her back. Actually, Miesha had the mount and was on her way to getting a stoppage, but then Santos gave her back. Tate chose to follow to back position instead of trying to fight back to mount. And then she tried to find a choke and just was unable to. And she had won the 3rd round, but had lost the first 2. And Santos gets a, clear decision. 29-28 all day. I thought Miesha Tate was clearly outgunned in the first 2 rounds. Takedowns were failing often. She was getting stung up with shots in the feet. But the one takedown that she did land in round 3, she was able to do some significant damage and, end up actually doing quite well in that third and final round. So kind of a moral victory for Tate a little bit with how well she finished. Enough so to probably say, I don't need to retire. But she did look kind of old, a little slower than before, a little more hittable than before. And the wrestling wasn't as precise as before. But eventually it did work. But, not without Santos winning the first 2 rounds already. Santos keeps her, career. I mean, it's not like he was dead anyways, even with the loss, but keeps herself kind of in somewhat of the mix, I guess is the right way to say it. Right now, Santos ranked at number 10. Tate was number 12. Is Jacqueline Cavalcanti booked for anything? Because they need to make that fight. Jacqueline Cavalcanti versus Yana Santos is such an interesting kickboxing battle because both girls are very tactical. I actually love that matchmaking. I feel like the UFC should go towards doing that because Santos has fought a shitload of the girls in front of her. I think her and Jacqueline Cavalcanti in a nice little prospect versus OG fight, instead of like here, she kind of got gifted the OG versus OG. And then the other one she had was Chelsea Chandler, who's just not very good. Yeah, I like Yana Santos versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti next. For Miesha Tate, I mean, keep her on the roster, but I don't know. I don't know. If she wants to do one more, Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea Chandler coming off pretty bad loss to Edwards. Santos had beaten her prior. Miesha Tate might be able to get her to the ground, but but Chandler has some jiu-jitsu. Maybe that's the fight. I don't know. Bit of a reach, right? I don't know. The women's fights at the, level of unranked, I guess I would say for now. That's really what I'm going at. I think that it's got to be unranked fights now for Miesha Tate. Like, I don't think you mix her up with girls in the rankings. If they want to just do something fun, I mean, you could do Priscilla Cachoeira versus Miesha Tate. Tate has a clear path to victory if she can get her down, but on the feet, she could get starched. I like that. Main card opener. Jeremy Stephens versus Mason Jones, delivered in a badass banger. First 2 rounds were fucking awesome. Third round was just dominant wrestling control, which I actually think was a smart strategy for Mason Jones. Because even though he was winning in the first 2 rounds, there were some testy moments. Like Stephens busted up Jones's eye in round 1 with the first clean straight he landed. Had the nose of Jones bleeding too. But Mason Jones looked clean. He had good punch combinations, was mixing in his punches, kicks, elbows, and knees together really well. And then later in rounds would mix in takedowns. He did get rocked back in round number 2, but then was able to, come on strong a bit. But he was getting stung up with shots, man. But then would finish the rounds with efficient wrestling. And round number 3, he decided to go to the efficient wrestling a bit earlier after having some striking success, but no need to risk it in a slobber knocker because Stephens was still cracking him back in a wild fight. You sit in the pocket in round 3 against a heavy-handed guy like Jeremy Stephens, who's been doing well in bare knuckle boxing. You could get your lights shut out really badly. So instead, Mason Jones employed a high IQ fight plan, which is takedown control, takedown control, takedown control, pepper and ground and pound. Congrats. Congrats. Mason Jones just beat a really, entertaining veteran of the game. And he gets back to the UFC after 4 wins outside of the octagon after getting released against a loss to Ludovic Klein, which actually has aged like a fucking fine wine. Mason Jones is not amongst the elite caliber. He is 30 years old, so I have my doubts about how far he'll climb, but he's got a good skill set. I got to look for unranked, man. Tapology is editing their rankings right now, so I got to find another option. All right, let's go to the UFC rankings on Ranking MMA. And let me see if I can give you guys a fight to make for him. So, Mason Jones makes the comeback against a guy that wasn't even in the UFC and had lost fights outside of the UFC. So, we can only climb him so far up the ranks. I think it'd be a little bit weird to, arrogantly say he's running up to elites. Do we do the prospect fight? Evan Elder versus Mason Jones? Evan Elder versus Mason Jones is a really cool fight. I like that matchup a lot. Second option, Wales versus Scotland. Do we give him Chris Duncan? I don't think they train together. And if they do, well, they probably won't do it. But if they do, they won't do it. All right. Well, if they don't train together, let's book them. I like that too. Chris Duncan versus Mason Jones is also a badass fight. Definitely some good options for Mason Jones. Either a prospect battle with Evan Elder, who's a bit younger than him, or he takes on a fucking tough Chris Duncan. Both fights that seem like near guaranteed fireworks as well, how the styles match up. So I like I like those options a lot for Mason Jones. We'll see what the UFC decides, but good win to start off the main card. Cameron Smotherman got tuned up by Sidey for 3 rounds. I mean, third round, I thought that he won, but it was close. I don't know, man. Sidey from distance was too tactical and clean. He was mixing in takedowns, even though he didn't have like great success from top position, mixing in takedowns to throw the striking flow of Smotherman, and it absolutely worked. Smotherman was chasing a bit with his boxing. Sidey was very tactical with a lot of movement and picking his shots well from the outside. He just landed more efficient strikes, and mixing in the takedowns was able to get him the win. But Smotherman did land some decent boxing combinations on the inside. He had a few okay moments. Sidey shot a deep Darce attempt, but ultimately Smotherman was able to escape. Still good points, though, for Sidey to try and shoot that. There was moments where, he was looking to get the fight wrapped with, and there was never really a moment for that with the side of Smotherman. So I thought Sidey had most likely done far more than enough to get at least 2 rounds. I honestly said I'm expecting 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28, and it was exactly that on the scorecards. You can fact check me by going back to the live stream and watching my post-fight reaction to it if you want to. Yeah, Surrey City's clean, man. He's a talented guy. Still young in his, UFC career. Now he's 2-1 in the UFC. Won a controversial decision and lost one. But this was a fair and clean decision against Cameron Smotherman, who pulled off a massive upset in his debut against Jake Hadley. City looks smart out there, and he had a lot of tools, man. Every aspect of his game. He has good kicks, good elbows, good knees, good punches from the outside, decent work from the inside, decent clinch, good takedown threat. Submission threat, even to Darce. City's got skills, man. He's got the long limbs, too, a tricky frame to deal with at bantamweight. I feel like he's got a fuckload of potential. I don't know about like elite caliber potential, but at least like I see him as a top 25 guy at some point. I know you say it's not super impressive. I think he can break into like the top 25. I could see him around that level. Of course, right now he's far from that. All right, where is he at now? Where would he be considered ranked? I don't even see him on rank in MMA. How far down they have him? They have him ranked around 41. Like Garrett Armfield's way in front of him. That's interesting. I'm trying to think matchups to make. I like this matchups to make next. Oh my God. For this one, I don't know. I don't know, man. Bekzat versus Brad Katona winner, maybe. He's on a 2-fight win streak, but does he deserve like an Adrian Yanez fight? That's kind of a scary ass matchup, too. We'll see what the UFC decides. For Smotherman, keep him on the roster, but, you got to give him somebody like Gaston Bolaños, who's coming off of, the Cortavius, or rather, no, he just lost. What am I talking about? The Cortavius Romeus win. He's coming off of the loss tonight to my fucking savage dog like Quang Lee. That's not crazy. I don't know. We're reaching at straws, man. Matchups to make for prospects, almost impossible to predict, but I do think Sidey fights, somebody that's maybe a bit more experienced. He looks solid. He's on a 2-fight win streak, regardless of what you think about the decision. But yeah, not too much of a jump in competition because still definitely developing prospect for sure. Montel Jackson, Daniel Marcos. This was a fucking snooze fest. I don't even want to talk about this fight. I mean, I will, but I don't want to. There's not that much to say. Montel Jackson's boxing looked better. He landed decent shots from the outside. Daniel Marcos had a few takedowns, a couple takedowns from Montel Jackson. Marcos really wasn't able to do anything with the takedowns. Neither really was Montel Jackson either. But Jackson had more moments with the striking. His boxing looked a lot sharper than Daniel Marcos. Dude, I don't know. Marcos like looping punches, then trying to wrestle. Really questionable game plan. He's 17-1 now. So the O went. First loss of his career. Montel Jackson just simply did more, and Marcos just kind of wanted to pin him against the cage and hold him and do nothing, and then expected the decision after. He was like so upset by the 30-27. He clearly lost. Montel Jackson stung him with pretty good jabs, decent straights, had Marcos off balance, and even wobbled a bit in round number 3. Yeah, I thought Montel Jackson clearly led the way in the fight, and it was a not even debatable 3-0. Montel Jackson's pretty good. I mean, he's ranked in the top 15 of the UFC bantamweight division. Took on Daniel Marcos, a guy fighting for his spot, right, outside of the rankings. Does he now get a step forward, right? You would have to assume. I don't know timelines of people's returns, but like somebody like a Kyler Phillips, maybe. It's not actually a crazy matchup at all. Somebody like a Kyler Phillips from Montel. I mean, you could say Marcus McGee, but he's supposed to be fighting Piotr Jan. I doubt they give him like a Mario Batista. It's almost like of the ranked guys, he's really number 15. Like it seems like a massive jump from like number 11 to number 15 name value wise. Jose Aldo to Montel Jackson. But I do think you kind of got to give him a fight forward. So I don't know. It could be a Kyler Phillips. I doubt it's a Mario Batista. I doubt it's a Henry Cejudo. You could say maybe a Rob Font, but I doubt he gets jumped to the number 8 guy. But stranger things have happened. But Daniel Marcos, man, fun style, good brawler. I don't know. Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz lost how many fights in a row? He retired though, right? If he's not retired, you give him Pedro Munoz. Chris Gutierrez, another fight, or even somebody like not a Basharat brother. Matsumoto versus Daniel Marcos. Those make sense. Ultimately, I think Daniel Marcos was heavily overrated. I mean, his record was nice, but come on, bro. He never really looked that good. Montel Jackson has had big moments and did enough to win. So shout out Montel Jackson getting it done by a unanimous decision. Featured fight of the night, Daniel Rodriguez, Santiago Ponzinibbio. It was a back and forth fight I enjoyed the fuck out of. Round number 1, Daniel Rodriguez had Ponzinibbio on wobbly legs. And I said, it looked like 2 unks at the barbecue throwing down. Okay. They're pissed off. I don't know what happened. Somebody said something to somebody's wife and they're just ready to go after it. D-Rod swinging wild bombs after he rocked Ponzi, and Ponzi, sliding all over the place. It was fun, man. I like the combinations, though. I like the brawl. Daniel Rodriguez definitely looked a lot sharper and younger than Ponzinibbio. Round 2 was closer. I thought that Ponzi could have got round 2, but could have went either way. Both guys had moments. Takedown for Ponzi. Didn't really do shit with it. It was pretty damn competitive, okay? It was pretty damn competitive between the two. And then round number 3, okay? Round number 3 is when D-Rod delivered the death shot. D-Rod, the death shot. Holy hell. D-Rod landed a massive shot that wobbled and dropped Ponzinibbio. Had him off balance with the first shot, then the next shot put him down, and then just a massive right hand to shut the lights off. Ref jumps in. Ponzi's complaining afterwards, but as he's complaining, it's like the earth is fully tilting completely to a massive degree, and he's like sliding across the cage. No, it was an early stoppage. It was an early stoppage. It was funny, man. It was funny as hell. Ponzi, he was out. Good stoppage by the referee. Good stoppage. He was done. D-Rod, he called out Jake Matthews. At this point, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Give him Jake Matthews. I'm down. I'm curious to see what would happen. For Ponzinibbio, they're going to keep him around, but should they? Maybe not. He got badly chinned here. He's been dropped a lot recently. Something I failed to mention about the last fight is Montel did have that tight Darce attempt too in round 3, but not that big of a deal. He 30-27 them anyways, but it just came to me as I was talking about this fight in round 3. D-Rod, I mean, keeps it alive. He looked better. I'll be honest, it's one of the better D-Rod performances. It's fun to watch. I like his scrap. He announces his rap career. I said, holy shit. You imagine D-Rod becomes like a Billboard charts rapper post-fighting? That'd be kind of cool. I don't know if he will. I'll be honest, I didn't pay that much attention to how the song played, but I don't know. Maybe he's actually got some rapping potential. Where the fuck is D-Rod ranked around? He really is like right at number 25 in that top 25. I feel like just give him Jake Matthews. Make it simple. Give him Jake Matthews. For Ponzinibbio, why is it that Ponzinibbio and Elizeu Zaleski just seems like perfection? Why is that not perfect? That's the fight. Why is that not the fight? That is it. Bro, have they ever fought before? Now I got to double check. I don't think they have. Ponzinibbio versus Zaleski just seems like a match made in heaven. I don't see them ever fighting before, did they? No. No. But that's the fight to make. Elizeu Zaleski versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Both guys coming off bad knockout losses. Do think Zaleski probably gets them, but I'm down for that matchup for sure. I like the fight. Both guys 1-1 out of the last 2. Fuck it. Bring it on. I like it. I'm down with it. Might be a bad idea for Ponzi, but I'm interested. Let's keep running, though. I want to jump to the co-main event, the fraud check of Bo Nickal. Wow. The Bo Show hype train comes crashing a bit earlier than many of us anticipated. Now, I knew eventually Bo Nickal would face a loss in the UFC, but I guess I really didn't believe that Reinier De Ridder would be the guy to take him out. But De Ridder looked in the best shape I've ever seen. He looked more jacked than ever before. Is he in Thailand leading up to his fight? Little Thailand TRT retreat, little testosterone. I don't know. I'm not saying no. I'm saying maybe. I don't know. D-Rod looked really, or D-Rod. Reinier De Ridder, RDR looked actually really good in this fight. His clinch work was off the chain. Was landing knees and punches to the body of Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal got on top of it, but then ends up fumbling the bag in a scramble and shooting for a fucking ghillie, pulling to his back, and then De Ridder gets on top of him. It was mind-boggling to see the horrible mistake by Bo Nickal. I guess I just didn't expect him to make a mistake like that. De Ridder on top of it. Bo does scramble back up, but, round ends. Nothing really happens. Nothing happens. Round number 2, De Ridder is relentless on Bo Nickal, backing him up. Bo trying to work throws, nothing there. De Ridder in his face, landing punches, landing shots to the body, knees to the body. He lands a good combo and kind of just has Bo Nickal breaking against the cage, cracking him with multiple body shots. You could tell Bo's not liking it. Bo's kind of like turning his head a bit, and then De Ridder's ripping him with punches over the top. And then Nickal's trying to throw like 2 bombs, and then De Ridder catches him with 2 big punches, a left, and then I believe the right was the clean shot. And then Bo's like backed up a bit towards the cage and then comes in, and De Ridder just the perfect knee to the body, and Bo Nickal crumbles down against the cage, and he was finished with. He got knocked out in round 2. He got handled pretty bad here, man. Reinier De Ridder, his clinch striking looked nasty. Dirty boxing was fucking on point for Reinier De Ridder. This picture of him is out of date now. They need to get an updated one. He looked way bigger than Bo Nickal, way stronger than Bo Nickal. His striking looked way better than the GM3 fight. He definitely fraud checked Bo Nickal. I mean, second round knockout, Bo, he's not old, right? He's still, what is he, 29? So he's got time to marinate, but taking a bad loss like this to Reinier De Ridder, definitely not a great look. If Bo Nickal could cut down to 170, I really feel like he'll be a lot more effective because, I don't know, man. De Ridder looks huge next to him. I mean, to be fair, De Ridder's one of the larger middleweights in the division. He looked huge. De Ridder looks great, man. He called out Sean Strickland after, and I had me think, I'm like, damn, could he get Sean Strickland with his grappling skill set? Strickland, as much as he talks about, death fighting and power, it's not like he hits that hard. I feel like De Ridder could eat some shots from him and keep on coming forward. Yeah, Reinier De Ridder absolutely whooped Bo Nickal and made us all look like morons because we all thought the Bo Show, most of us at least. Few people from the community, from the members stream. We have Max Ersh Bischoff from members, Cody Marmon from members, and Tulit MMA, all from members stream, talking to me face to face, saying Reinier De Ridder is going to win. And I'm shouting them all out now. I know they'll love it. They deserve it. Badass pick, man. Big underdog and a complete and utter fraud check that really just makes me question where we go with Bo Nickal. Like, he's not a young prospect. He's 29. If he was 26 and he lost like this, no big deal. But he is 29. It's going to take a couple of years to rebuild. Like, I don't think he's fighting in the top 15 until early as 2027 or late 2026. I think he takes 6 months off. De Ridder is a fucking legit top 15 guy, though. My God. De Ridder looked big. We're talking all this trash on Bo, but ultimately, De Ridder's pretty good. I'm thinking about the top 15, though. And I'm thinking about De Ridder. The call out of Sean Strickland is far-fetched. I doubt they give him a top 5 guy. But let me tell you something. It's not crazy to go Roman Dolidze versus Reinier De Ridder. And you can't tell me you're not interested to see who wins that fight because Dolidze's got some strong grappling skills too. And Dolidze's got some thudding power in his hands. A little bit wild in the striking. It's a pretty cool matchup. I actually am really interested in that fight. I hope the UFC books Roman Dolidze versus Reinier De Ridder because I just want to see how the stylistic clash of like awkward striking and skillful grappling matches up against one another. And I don't think De Ridder's out of that fight. I mean, he could pull it off. You could win. He's better in the clinch with strikes for sure. Dolidze maybe a bit stronger, but De Ridder makes up for, maybe the strength with just pure size. For Bo Nickal, they got to give him a can. They got to give him such a winnable fight. They have to. They have to give him such a winnable fight. Edmund Shabazian, Andre Petrović loser, maybe? That's an option. Gerald Meerschaert, that is also an option. GM3 versus Bo Nickal has a really good ring to it. I actually love that fight. I would say GM3 would be my personal choice. Don't know if the UFC will do it, but I like the idea of it. If not GM3, I mean, you could give him the loser of Petrović and Edmund Shabazian for sure. But yeah, man, that fight with him and Gerald Meerschaert seems like a must make. That could be another terrible matchup for him with GM3 submission threat. That could be bad. That could be bad, man. We might have to shoot him way down. Like, he might have to fight somebody that's just not it. Like, somebody clearly bad. I don't know. Depends if the UFC is really going to try to protect the Bo Nickal investment and just give him a certified can, or if it's going to be like, no, he's taking on a fighter because now he's fought a ranked guy now. Can't give him somebody. What he's going to give him? A guy with fucking 2 UFC? You can't even 0-2 guy in the UFC. You can't. You can't step his level down that far. He beat Paul Craig. GM3 seems like the right fight, and that's the fight that I'll call for him. Let's jump to the main event. You guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe it up. Cory Sandhagen, Deiveson Figueiredo, dominance by Sandhagen, but some really weird leg lock entanglements between the two early in the fight. I mean, for the majority of round one, Figueiredo is trying to find the heel hook, and Sandhagen just like beating the shit out of him with ground and pound and landing big shots and even busting him up. I question the fight IQ with that strategy by Deiveson Figueiredo. I really did not get it. Start of round two, Figgy did land a big takedown, but, you know, Sandhagen's scramble ability gets back up to his feet. There is a bit of leg lock entanglements again in round two. And Sandhagen landed a big trip that like dropped Figueiredo down hard. And then we had a weird leg lock battle again after Sandhagen landed some ground and pound. And they're in the 50-50, and like Sandhagen is able to get a better position and like move in on Figgy, and Figgy's knee pretty much blew out, and Sandhagen with some pepper shots, Figgy taps out to his knee getting ripped apart. Not a submission technically. They called it a knockout, ground and pound, or, you know, I don't know. It really was a submission to strikes, but because of the 50-50 position, Cory Sandhagen was able to damage Deiveson Figueiredo's leg. But this was like a Cory Sandhagen possessed because he beat the shit out of Deiveson Figueiredo. Like, he beat his ass, man. Cory Sandhagen was ruthless and relentless from the start of this fight. Even in striking, he was throwing harder than I've ever seen. The kicks to the legs were nasty. When they were on the ground, even he's looking for leg locks as they're exchanging it. As soon as he gets out, he beats the shit out of Figueiredo with ground and pound. It was relentless. It was the violent Sandhagen that we've been wanting, man. It was like a new look on Sandhagen. Mean Sandhagen, because normally he seems like such a nice guy. He looked really fucking mean. And I think he really, like, just showed, okay, he's amongst the elites. I like the idea of new blood for the belt. Let's say Merab wins against O'Malley. Are we really, what are you going to do? The fucking Umar Nurmagomedov rematch next? We're going to do a rematch with Petr Yan? No, you're going to give Cory Sandhagen a title fight. If Sean O'Malley wins, Sean O'Malley, Cory Sandhagen is a fight the UFC has been wanting to put together. At least fans have been wanting to see for years. The option to me is Sandhagen title fight. The fact is, he beat the hell out of Deiveson Figueiredo much more impressively than Petr Yan did recently. Yan went 5 full rounds with him. Sandhagen broke him and tore his knee up and beat the shit out of him beforehand. 92-8 strikes. Fuck how it ended. Sandhagen beat his ass, man. I think he also maybe showed us the last of Figueiredo because, you know, at 37 years old, bantamweight division, going to have to rehab that knee. Could be, you know, 6 months to a year. Really think this is the end, at least of the elite run for Deiveson Figueiredo. Could he stick around for some fun fights? Maybe. But he's going to be out for a while. I feel like we have no idea when the timeline of return is. I don't even know the exact injury. Could have been, you know, some type of torn ligament in the knee for sure. So he's going to kind of just be waiting around. I don't know who he'll be matched up with against when he comes back. I mean, depends on timing. Maybe if, you know, Jose Aldo catches, you know, a win against Zahabi and then another loss later, and then Figueiredo comes back and fights him in a retirement fight in a battle of Brazil in Brazil, that could be fucking dope. But I really have no idea what they're going to do with Davis and Figueiredo because I don't know when he's going to be back. But I know what they definitely should do with Cory Sandhagen because he absolutely put on a badass performance that has me saying hell yes to a title fight. That's how you get a title fight, though. You're ruthless, relentless, and violent in search of the finish. Sandhagen has done enough work. Yes, he lost to Umar Nurmagomedov. Still went 5 hard rounds. And yes, Umar went on to lose against Merab. But new blood for the belt is way better than rinsing and repeating these fucking rematches. Let's go Umar versus Yan, and let's go Sandhagen versus the winner of the UFC 316 Merab versus O'Malley 2 main event. I absolutely love it. I think that has to be done, man. We had Marlon Vera get a title fight after Sandhagen had beaten him beforehand. I think it makes way more sense now. Even though Sandhagen has the Umar loss, I'm saying 2 thumbs up. Yes, give the man a title shot. Overall, I will say that the card was decent. I don't think it was one of the best card evers, but it really finished strong, and that's what made me happy. Now, as far as the prediction rate, another main event pick hits. On point with the motherfucking main events. Sandhagen pick on the money. Co-main event, me and most of the people lost with the Nickal fraud check. Congrats to De Ridder. Had D-Rod over Ponzinibbio. Good underdog pick there. Had Jackson over Marcos. Money pick there. Had Sidey over Smotherman. Money pick there. Had Mason Jones over Stevens. Money pick there. So 5-1 across the main card. On the prelims, I did call Tate by a decision. She lost the decision. To be fair, I parlayed the over 2.5, and it did come to fruition. We'll talk parlays in a second. Yana Santos won, though. So L there. Had Azamat Bekoev. Knockout. Was confident in it. He destroyed Loder. Had Jillian Robertson over Rodriguez. She destroyed her. Had Quang Savage Doglock come through to make the night a great success early on with the win over Bolaños. Had Thomas Petersen win over Mays. Good pick there. And then lost. Had Petrović decision. Miller got a decision. So what? 9-3 overall. I'm pretty damn happy with 9-3. Now, the Savage parlays got knocked down with Nickal losing the plus 1,200, the plus 2,000. That shit did not cash, and I was disappointed, but it was still great success, all right? After the weigh-ins, Lee, Sandhagen, and Bekoev plus 225. Bekoev and Jones, the safe play, minus 209. And then my own creative flow that I came up with on fight day, Bekoev, Tate, and the Sandhagen call, Bekoev Tate over, not Tate money line. And the Sandhagen call at minus 108. So at the end of the day, parlay did catch a dub. Savage Doglock caught a dub. But the D-Gen calls did not. But overall, the picks were pretty amazing. Going 11-3. I have to be happy with the pick rate. I'm happy the Savage Doglock is back on track from Wednesday's show. This week's Best MMA Bets. That's what? 7 out of 10? That's pretty damn good, man. That's pretty damn good. And I'm feeling super excited for this UFC 315 card. I'll have the full card predictions out later today if you're watching this May 4th. I'm about to go to bed, though. I'm tired, all right? Much love, my people. Thanks for watching. Hit the likes on your way out if you're new, subscribe. And thank you guys for 47,300 subs. I love each and every one of you guys. Now, let me know in the comments what you thought of the card, and especially the Bo Nickal fraud check. And if you got nothing to say, just enjoy the content. W in the chat to boost your algorithm for your boy. Thanks, guys. I'm going to sleep. Peace out. Good night.